Hello, and welcome to my second video. In this video, we are going to talk about this little baby right here. So, I guess the title of this video is something to do about how this was a flood car, and my experience with this car, actually. So, a WRX, or SCI in general, was something that I wanted to buy for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. I wanted one, and I started out with a 2011 V6 Mustang. Anyways, I started out with a 2011 V6 Mustang, and it was an automatic, and it was just something that all the car guys that I knew would kind of joke on me for, because V6 automatic, it's just how it is. And I was never really a car guy. Like, I liked the way some cars looked, but I never really knew anything about them. And this actually was like the first thing that I saw some videos on YouTube, and I was like, man, I really like these cars. And so I started doing some research and stuff, and watched a lot of videos of people rebuilding salvage ones. So once I started doing some research on these, and watching a lot of videos of people doing rebuilt salvage ones, I knew that I wanted to get a wrecked one, if possible, for a good price. Because with the market and stuff today, like, everything's just jumping up. Like, to get a solid WRX, like, with decent miles, you're looking at like 25 to like 28,000 bucks. And obviously, I know I don't have that money, so I started looking around on Copart and stuff, and I found a lot that were wrecked, but it came down to not trying to get something that's too wrecked, because obviously I don't know too much about cars, so I'm like, I can't fix something too much. I was looking mostly at body damage stuff. Then I didn't really want to take the risk of frame damage, so I came across this one, and it was marked as rebuilt and run and drive, and it said, I can't remember what it was, but it said something along the lines of like clean, like it's all good. So I'm like, okay, let's start bidding. I had watched this one a couple times, and it had sold like a couple times for like 16,000, all this. So I ended up winning it at 11,000, I think, or 10,000, something along those lines. And I was like, great, this is a good deal. I just got like a basically brand new WRX for 58,000 miles, 56,000 miles on it or something. I was like, dang, I just got a brand new one for like 10, 11,000 bucks. Like, that's a good deal. And then time goes on, get all the shipping stuff. It was from Utah, so it cost about $1,000 to $1,500 to ship it here. And I got it here, and we take it off the trailer. We start it up, and you just start hearing this, like this little knocking sound. I'm like, oh shit, that's not good. But we tried to get it to my house. We dropped it off not even a mile up the street at a little Chinese church, and not even all the way home it broke down and just stopped in the middle of the road. So we had to get my dad's truck and some tow straps and just tow it all the way back to my house, where it sat in my garage for I think 3 months. So we got it in March of 2021. Sat in the garage for about 3 months, and then March. Sat in the garage for about 3 months, like June-ish. We had already found an engine replacement that had 3,500 miles on it, so that was really good. But I obviously do not know how to put an engine into a car. My dad kind of does, but wasn't really trusting himself there. So took us some time to find somebody. We found somebody in the area that was willing to do it for a good price. So we kind of worked things out, got him to. What the heck? That was a cat. Anyways, we worked things out. We got him to agree to put it in. Took it there in June-ish. No, it wasn't ish. It was like early June. It was like June 14th-ish. Dropped it off. It sat in the same spot for probably 2 or 3 months there. So I was like sad. I was like, man, I can't even look at it. I was like so sad about that. Where he just kept it there, and I had texted him like all the time. I'm texting him like, hey man, what's going on with the car? You working on it? You doing this? And eventually, in like August or September, he decides that it is a good time to go ahead and start on it. So he starts sending me pictures. I'm at this point, I'm back at school in Cincinnati, so I'm like, well, you know, I keep coming back and forth thinking, oh, maybe I'll come home this weekend, it'll be finished. And it never is finished. I don't know if anybody else notices this, but my zipper's down. Anyways, I keep coming back and forth thinking, oh, maybe it'll be finished up. And it's not finished up. And he had sent me pictures of it being pulled, the engine pulled and stuff. I'll put some pictures up somewhere in here. And I'm like, okay, well, the engine's out. And the engine sat out for, I don't know, 2 more months. And I'm like, what the hell? He like kept finding things wrong with this replacement engine. He's like, oh, like, it's like he would work on 2 or 3 cars a day, and my car would just be like piece by piece, little by little, which I respect. But like, you know, when you have my car and my engine for the past like 4 months ish, like kind of sus there. So I keep putting pressure on this guy and keep putting pressure on him, and finally he sends me pictures of him dropping the engine in, and we're all good. And then I text him, I'm like, so when can I come get it? Like, I'm in school, I'd be happy to come down and grab it like whenever. And he's like, well, you know, I just want to make sure things are fine. So then he starts driving it around for like a week or so. So I'm like, man, this dude's driving my car before I'm driving my car. I'm like sad. And then I'm like, but it is what it is. So then eventually we finally get the car back, and we go up to get it inspected to get the rebuilt title. We get the inspection, we do everything, and they're like, oh yeah, actually this salvage title does not get served here. You have to take it to the Capitol. Oh my God. Of course, something else. So we take the car, or we take all the paperwork and stuff. My dad made it sound like it was something that I couldn't do. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just waiting for him to, you know, take it up to Frankfurt, get paperwork sorted out, drop it off, get it inspected, all that. All this, and he never does it. And then, like, after Christmas, I'm like, okay, like, just where's the paperwork? Let me go do it. And he's like, oh, yeah, you could have gone and done it a couple months ago. I'm like, of course. So at this point, he gives me the paperwork. I get up there and give them the paperwork. It's like late or early December, or maybe late December. It's like right after Christmas, I think, actually. And they finally have all the paperwork. I'm excited. I'm like, okay, it's, you know, how many people are getting cars inspected in Kentucky right now? I'm like, I gave them all the paperwork. 2 weeks, we'll be good. And then 2 weeks go by. I'm like, okay, Dad, anything in the mail? No. I'm like, okay. 4 weeks go by. Anything in the mail? No. 2 months go by. Like, anything in the mail? No. I'm like, what the hell? Finally, so all this time, I've still never like owned a stick shift car. I've driven them a couple times. I used to ride dirt bikes, so I understood how it worked, but I had never like owned one. So all this time, I'm coming back and forth, and literally the car, I learned how to drive it in my driveway, just back and forth every day I was here. It was a pain, and it hurt to not take it on the street. But anyways, so a couple months go by, and finally he calls me. He's like, "You got the paperwork, like all this, like I'm going to get the license plate made." And finally, all this happens, and I get home, and the license plate's made. Everything's good, and I'm just, driving around, and she's a beaut. So I guess from there, this is like literally March. It literally took a year to get the car, get the engine put in, get the title. Everything took a year, which is like way longer than I expected anything to take. So I was like so frustrated at this point, and I'm like, all my friends are like, "Bro, you've been talking about this car saying it's gonna be ready for like months now, a year. Like what the hell's happening? Do you even have this car?" So finally, everything gets done. The car's here. It just stopped recording. I don't know what happened. Anyways, car's here. I'm driving it around like my hometown and stuff, but I can't take it to school because my dad doesn't trust Cincinnati hills. So I'm like, okay, that's fine, I understand. So I'm like coming back like every other weekend just to drive and stuff because I love driving it. And that's essentially the end of the story of it having issues. So what essentially is done to the car at the moment, it's got a Cobb intake that came on it with the old engine stuff. But I don't have an access port or anything, so it's not necessarily tuned. But let's see what else. Oh, my wheels. I'll put a picture up of the wheels here. They came with these. One second. It came with these ugly spray painted, like trashy spray paint job on these stock wheels, and that was disgusting. So what we did was, my girlfriend's brother-in-law had a STI, so 2017 STI, so but he sold it. So what he did was he sold me his winter wheels for like $400. Came with the winter tires that were like basically brand new, and the wheels that just looked better to start out. So he gave me those for a good deal, and then now I'm running some bronze Motegi MR 147s. They're 18 by 8.5, I think, maybe 9.5. I can't remember what I did. And offset of plus 42, I believe. So I finally got some nice wheels on here that look good. And then it came with a tint. We bought a duckbill spoiler for the back. I got the overlays that are like carbon fiber with the red stars, but they are really bad and don't really stick, so that's cool. What else? I have a front lip for it that I just haven't put on yet. There's other stuff to it. I don't know what I've done. I don't have my parts list stuff right now, but that'll be a whole nother video. Overall, should you buy a flood car? It depends on if you're willing to put the time in. I might make another video in general regarding flood cars and my experience, because this isn't the first flood car that we've had. But overall, I love this car. I'm excited for the future with it. I'm excited to learn about it. And it's my baby. So, if you did enjoy today's video, please like, subscribe, comment, and follow my TikTok for the car, which is WRX. I'll put it down on the screen, and I'll put all that stuff in the description down below. But thank you for watching today's video, and I will see you next time.